also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality bromate free, all purpose and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Heavy Duty 89 series. High efficiency, brushless 20-volt motor. All-in-one professional angle grinder kit. Runix brushless angle grinder.
Hello, good night everyone. My name is Richard Jagasa and this is Breaking Barriers. If you were logging in tonight to see Mr. Injan Ishmael, I am sorry to disappoint. I have the next best thing. I have his brother, Uncle Nazim, with me. Uncle Nazim, how are you tonight?
Fine, pleasant good night to each and everyone. You might be disappointed, but we will definitely try to make your night. So without further ado, I will just hand over to Richard so that he can get it moving.
All right. So first we want to say good night to everybody, but a special welcome and good night, Shub Diwali, to all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and especially the Hindu community. Assalamu alaikum to the Muslim community, the Islamic community, and of course, good evening to all of the viewers and listeners. So, tonight on Breaking Barriers, we have a lot to discuss. A lot of serious issues.
There are a lot of issues that took place over the past week. The Prime Minister wasn't here. But I guess he probably by the Nagar now.
Yes, he is there. On my way here, the news did in fact say that he was there in company with some other ministers, and he's expected to give a speech tonight.
But I was kind of worried because when the Prime Minister, it was told that the Prime Minister coming today, it had a storm by the Nagar. We were almost flooded out by the Nagar.
All right. Well,
I say, Lord have mercy, the blight come back.
And you know there's flood there.
Yes.
There's flood there. All right. So I know you wanted to touch on an important issue, an issue that I think the entire country could relate to. You want to start off with that issue tonight?
That is the issue with the Minister of Finance, who in the Parliament, I think he was on his feet speaking when he decided to make a public announcement that they arrested the Apollo Creed. That is the barge that was with the oil spill in Tobago. Now, they arrested a barge. I would like to know who were the personnel that were responsible for that. Was it local people, or was it foreigners that was given a contract to get this done? What did it cost the taxpayers? Now, he talked about that being performance by the PNM. That is such good performance. But what about 540 murders? How many people have been arrested? The extortion that is taking place. How many people has been arrested? Isn't that where performance really counts?
Where it matters.
It matters most. It is affecting the citizens of this nation. And they concern, why it might be important to get the funds from the damage caused by the barge. I have no problems with that. But I think that the safety of the citizens is of paramount importance. And we could just go into it now with the guy that was kidnapped.
Yeah, I think we have a picture, studio. And this is young entrepreneur, businessman in Kunupe, Suvesh Ramnarayan.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Going in 3 weeks now.
And no word.
What is happening?
Yeah. And
where is the performance of the PNM where this is concerned?
And this comes on the heels of a series of extortion claims in Central and the country at large, and kidnapping of business people, and of course then the subsequent murders.
Yes, and I was browsing through Facebook today and I saw something, and it really made me think. I saw three professionals, a doctor, a dentist, a pharmacist, all left this country with their kids. They are not too worried about their safety, but they are worried about their children's future. So a lot of professionals are migrating. And if that doesn't concern the citizens, I don't know what will again, because we are fast going into a cesspool where that is concerned.
So we're in a country where crime is rampant. We have people being kidnapped, extortion claims every day in this country, people migrating to get away from it. And the government's response to this crime is suggestion box in all of the police stations, and most recently, $25 million for body cameras.
At a cost of?
25. What does it work up to?
$8,000.
$8,000 per body camera. 8,000 TT dollars per body camera.
And you could get one on Amazon for less than 100.
100 TT?
Yeah.
So,
not 100 TT.
So wastage of funds.
Wastage, foreign exchange, where we have small businesses who are being starved of a small quantity to have their business rotating, and they cannot get foreign exchange.
So this 25 million spent by the TTPS falls under the Ministry of National Security. And we have two ministers of national security.
Two failures of national security.
Right. We have Minister Hines, he's an MP.
Right.
We have Minister Keith Scotland, he's also an MP.
Mr. Colpot.
Right, Mr. Colpot. Now, Mr. Hines has been a stalwart of the People's National Movement.
Correct.
You don't say so?
Correct.
He's been in the party, I think, since 1995. He's been an MP for quite some time. Everybody knows him as he can't even walk in his own constituency without getting wet.
Well, I think the only person who knew that Mr. Hines was not fit for ministerial position was Mr. Manning.
You might be onto something there.
Mr. Manning.
But it appears as though some people are coming up to that conclusion as well.
Correct.
Because I saw recently, and we have the clip and we'll show it, I saw recently PNM people, PNM Women's League, or females in the PNM arm, are calling for Hines to step down and not be returned as an MP. Let's play the clip.
All in favor of the current member of Parliament, as he would have submitted his nomination and interest, his consent form, and interest to return. The Honorable Fitzgerald Hines, I will call his name 3 times, so you have an opportunity, just in case you did not hear me on the first occasion. You have 2 more occasions to hear. The Honorable Fitzgerald Hines, by show of hands. The Honorable Fitzgerald Hines, again, by show of hands. And I'm again asking, all in favor of our current Member of Parliament, the Honorable Fitzgerald Hines. We have 1.
So look at that. In that entire meeting, only one person.
Yeah,
one person.
Distinctly
in
so,
favor.
1 hand.
1. And just before I arrived, I was checking, because this happened today. So I was checking to see what the People's National Movement says in response. They did not deny that those were legitimate People's National Movement members. They did not deny that those are indeed women of the People's National Movement. And I think what they said was something along the lines of there were some inconsistencies with the voting and there will be another meeting call and so on. And all that is well and good. But to me, the people have spoken.
They have spoken. And it will be all up now to the screening committee of the PNM, whether the people in the constituency have any say or if the Prime Minister dictates who he wants.
Yes. Yes, I think that was a polling division or a party group or something of the sort. I think that
constituency.
But what is important is it was a party group in his constituency.
Correct. So it shows quite clearly his constituents do not want him to go up there again.
There we go. And that is a cry of the people. Not you, not I, of the people.
And I think it will go even further, because the next person the constituents have to probably rally around to get rid of is Keith Scotland, because he is also failing in his constituency. His constituency is crime-ridden. What has he done? What has Mr. Hines done?
What has any of them done?
To try and raise the morals of the constituents. What have they done?
Yeah, the only thing Hines do was raise the water level. And that's why he got wet when he visited in 2018. So we talk about failures and we talk about the PNM. It's almost synonymous. You know, it's another word that's synonymous with them, deceitful. Let's go to the next picture. And we're moving from minister to minister. We're moving from PNM MP to MP. And here we have the short man himself, the Minister of Finance himself, Colin Imbert.
But I say the little twit, the short, good for nothing. And look at that man.
Now this is an official picture. I don't know why studio zoom in. This is an official picture Newsday uses. We didn't do anything with the picture, you know.
No, well,
we didn't do anything. You know they would like to say we do something with the picture.
Photo shoot it and all them kind of
He's happy. He's glad. He's happy. You know why? According to him, the people in riot yet.
Right.
But let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation with the next slide. I think this was Sunday's Express. The headline, Foreign Exchange Frustration. Importers complain of difficulty accessing U.S. currency, warn of food crisis. Story by Anna Ramdas. Let's go to the next slide. This was Monday. So Sunday headline, Monday headline. Column reviews Forex. Finance Minister examines feasibility of U.S. at Exim Bank after importers complain of shortage. Let's go to the next one. Daily plea. Now this was Tuesday. So 3 headlines in a row. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Plea for help plea for IMF help. Businessman Rights International, Financial Agency, Central Bank Governor, Auditor General on foreign exchange, Forex crisis. And you come back to me now, studio. And this is important because I don't think anybody in this country disputes that there is a foreign exchange crisis.
Correct.
Nobody disputes that except Imbert. But we'll get to him in a second. So you and I both know, if we have a confirmed ticket, we've not traveled or asked for US in the last 3 or 4 months, and we go to the bank with sufficient TT, we can buy $150 in US, $200 in US.
You're lucky if you get 200.
You're lucky if you get. My last trip in December last year, when I went to the bank told me they don't have any US to sell. I said, well, okay, I'll take pounds. No, we don't have any pounds. I said, okay, well, how about I'll take yen? She said we don't have that. I said, you even know what yen is? She said, no, but whatever it is, we don't have it. Right? Serious, real story, you know, real story. You walk into a commercial bank with confirmed ticket, you can't get any foreign exchange at all. And that's how we get to foreign exchange crisis.
And then the banks keep cutting your credit card.
Right. And we'll get to that in a minute. But let's look at this holistically. So there is a crisis.
Definitely.
Right. That's the regular man. That's the everyday man trying to take his family on a little vacation, lucky to get a 200 US, if so much. I mean, Inshan has a screenshot he shows where his card got declined for, I think, $50 US or something.
I think it's less than that.
Less than that. And we'll get to another screenshot where that has been happening to a lot of citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So there is no dispute that there is a crisis. On top of that now, the business community of Trinidad and Tobago has come forward on Sunday, Monday. I mean, it has happened in the past as well, but this wave is growing. Come forward on Sunday and said, listen, it is getting to be a severe hindrance to the operation of our business. I'm warning that there may be a food shortage. Nobody said anything about increasing the price of foods at the grocery.
Right.
No, the supermarket association said nothing of the sort. All right? But then Imbert implied that is what was going to happen and then made his own press release and whatever. Now, so we have the regular man and we have the business community. And then we have Imbert responding and saying, all of y'all are lying. There is no foreign exchange crisis in this country. You know what he says? He says, go to Exim Bank. Mm-hmm. Go to Exim Bank and get your foreign exchange. He says, during COVID, we opened a window. We allowed you as importers to go to Exim Bank and get foreign exchange. I've looked at the regulation. You know, the truth is that little smiley face, deceitful individual has spun this story in such a way where if people don't look carefully, they might take the chain up. But I'll tell him something tonight. We're not taking the chain up.
Be very respectful to the short man, please.
Be very respectful.
Very respectful. No obscenities.
No obscenities. I can't promise.
Oh.
I've looked at the regulation, and let me tell you, first of all, Exim Bank, EX, EX, stands for export.
All right.
Exim Bank deals with manufacturers not being part of the energy sector, any other manufacturer who wishes to export their goods outside of TNT. Exim Bank assists those people. Exim Bank, during COVID, assisted with the importation of only essential items. And I've looked at that list of essential items, and it was restricted only to certain food items and certain pharmaceutical items. So let me set the record straight. It was only applicable for a short period of time, and it was only applicable to specific goods. It is not applicable to the everyday businessman who are crying out now. Right. So that's the Exim Bank issue dealt with. Now you touched on something earlier. You said it's being your foreign exchange on your card, your credit card, is being slashed.
That was $3,000. Now it's going to $1,500.
Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next. All right. So this was a case. Before we get into what you were saying, This is a case, I believe, Privy Council ruled on it yesterday. Yesterday. As EMBD loses case at Privy Council, Munilal State must answer for millions spent in witch hunt. And I'll summarize what this is. Munilal says, all of the lawyers that the state paid to represent EMBD in this frivolous lawsuit with no hope, no chance of success, all of the monies that were paid to those lawyers up to the Privy Council, what were they paid in? Yen? TT?
US dollars.
It was paid in US and pounds, or the foreign exchange of this country is going into that witch hunt against Munilal for political victimization.
While we're on that, I just want to segue a little bit here now. Now, you said the Privy Council is our last
Court of Appeal.
Right.
Appellant court.
I want to bring in the CCJ. If we didn't have the Privy Council, you could imagine what would have happened to a lot of cases that they found the person guilty and they took it to the Privy Council and won. A lot of people did that. So without the Privy Council, I don't know what other recourse we will have, because everybody know everybody in the Caribbean.
Right.
So I totally against the removal of the Privy Council. I don't know your take on that. That is your fear.
Yes, you're pulling me in some bacchanal. But I like how you said that. You said we know each other here. The Privy Council looked at Pandey's case and declared that a victory for Pandey, doesn't know Pandey, doesn't know the inner workings of our culture and so on, of course, and looked at the case objectively and said what they did to you over the last 10 years, 15 years, as the case maybe, was political victimization. As it was at the Privy Council, political victimization. Same thing happening now. As Munilal puts it, you have to answer for all of this foreign currency you're paying these lawyers to pursue these frivolous claims. All right. Now, it's important to understand that case is different than the one that was dealt with last week. And in this case, Junior Sammy took the EMBD to court, won his matter, and it's important to understand that the issue for us as citizens is why was that needed? First of all, if the man did work
and to get paid,
and everything was checked, which the case speaks to, then he should have gotten paid. And there shouldn't be any need to spend how much ever. I wonder, I have to ask the question, how much millions was spent to pursue that case?
Now, you had to remember the Attorney General, when asked that question, to provide information on the lawyers that represent the state, how much monies they got. He said that it would not be in the best interest to bring that out in the open. Why? It's taxpayers' money that is being paid.
Correct, absolutely correct.
We have to know where our taxpayers' dollars are going.
Correct. Nobody is asking how much money went in the lawyer pocket and he carry home, Nobody asking that, We want to know the same thing as if you were to award a contract. The same thing as if you were to buy a vehicle. This is money coming from the public purse paying for a good or a service. We want to know how much that cost us. That's it.
That's all.
That's all. That's all. When a lawyer does a bill, it will include the legal team, use of office, paper, ink, and so on. We don't want to know from the bill that he submits to the AG's office, we don't know how much of that money he takes home, That's his personal business. We want to know how much the bill was.
Correct.
So it's not personal information.
We want accountability.
And according to Justice Budu Singh, as he then was in the Dennis Rennie case and the Commissioner of Police, it's not privileged information either. We want to know, as a matter of public interest, how much money was spent.
Correct.
All right, let's go to the next slide. I think this one brings us back to the credit card point. There we go. Could we zoom out? Again, this is today. This is an email sent by Scotiabank to their customers. Scotiabank is saying, as we continue to navigate the foreign exchange considerations prevailing within our country, even Scotiabank know it have a crisis.
Right.
Even Scotiabank know there's an issue. The only person who don't know there is an issue is Imbert.
Is it when?
Please be advised that effective December 1st, 2024, which is just in a couple of weeks, the maximum US dollar spending limit per calendar month on your Scotiabank credit card will be reduced. Reduced. The only word it's missing is further reduced. As follows, until further notice. Your Aero MasterCard, your Black, that is the highest card they could give, is now reduced to $5,000 US. All other personal cards, which is the majority of their customer base, will be reduced to $2,000 US. This change includes all transactions conducted outside of Trinidad and Tobago, along with all international online transactions. Let me pause there for a second. You come back to me. Let me pause there for a second. You know what that means? Per month, your online transactions, you want to purchase from Amazon, any other, that's the limit.
$2,000.
Right? So if you were a foreign use car dealer and you want to bring in parts to fix vehicles, your limit is $2,000.
Crap or smoke your pipe.
All right? Point of sale now stopped. You can't go to the US, can't go to anywhere in the world and give them your, in that case it's Scotiabank, but we'll be fair, it's most of the banks. Give them your debit card and swipe the card. It's not going to work. All right? And I'll show you proof of that in a minute. And this is the crisis. This is what we, the regular citizen, calls a crisis. But I guess Imbert in his Eiffel Tower wouldn't experience that. Let's continue. I want to go back to that slide. I want to finish it. Additionally, your Scotia card Visa debit will no longer offer overseas point of sale. Well, I just touched on that. Could we slide down a little bit? Could we scroll down? No ATM withdrawals. Right, that's what line I was looking for. You come back to me. So what that means is, you know that $200 limit, that $150 limit we spoke about? That applies here. So what if I go to Scotiabank in Canada? And I walk in and I say, well, I am a Scotiabank customer in Trinidad and Tobago, and I would like to withdraw US from my account. This is my card. I'll withdraw some US. You know what I was saying? You can't go to the ATM and swipe that card anymore, you know. They're locking it down. You can't get any US at all, any foreign exchange at all.
Because I think people used to go and use their debit card, and I think they say they used to get, is either 200 or a little more than that at a time.
Correct. It would have a limit.
Right, all that stuff.
That's what they're saying, and this happened today. So Scotiabank is saying there is a foreign exchange crisis. The business community is saying there is a foreign exchange crisis. The regular man on the street and will open the lines and confirm with callers if there's a foreign exchange crisis. But Imbert says, no, all of us lying. All of us lying. The only person telling the truth is Imbert.
Now, is it legal for persons to put up signs on their business saying that we buy US for $7.50 or $8?
As far as I'm aware, the legislation says you must be an authorized dealer.
Correct. Now, there are a lot of people that have businesses and they have signs telling you that they're buying US for $7.50 now or $8, some as much as $8.50. So when they buy the US for that price, because they're not getting it from the source that is supposed to at the preferential rate, don't you think prices are going to go up? Because they're paying black market price for their US. And
a lot of the businessmen in the Trinidad and Tobago have referenced that they're forced to do that. You know, let's go to, there's a caller on the line. Hold the caller for 1 minute. Let's just go to the next slide. Let's just zoom in.
Javid.
This is Asha Javid, a known reporter. High ethics, high morals, high values. Has posted this on Facebook. When I took the screenshot, it was 8 minutes ago, but it was just about maybe 6 p.m. around that window, I saw it. The most upsetting thing about my recent trip to New York City was the multiple times my card declined at point of sales. The first time in a clothing store, it went through only for the cashier to explain it only went through for US $50. When I tried again, it didn't go through. Needless to say, they refunded me the US $50 to my account. And I managed the rest of the trip with some cash in hand and my son's credit card. And thankfully, I had prepaid for the hotel before the trip because now I am not sure my card would have gone through. All right, and let's scroll down. And Miss Javid is making reference to the same email from Scotiabank that we just looked at.
Right.
So let's scroll back up, and I just want to make the point. So she is saying that this cut on Scotiabank is going to hurt her even more than her recent trip. Her recent trip hurt her already. Her recent trip, even though she had a card that she could use for point of sale, gave trouble. Her recent trip that she went with her son, she tried to use the card for point of sale, and it didn't go through for any amount more than $50, and she had to manage with cash.
Now, even more to that, Richard, is that the embarrassment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Embarrassment, you go in front of the cashier with your stuff, anxious to pay because your credit card tell you, all right, you can use 2,000, and it just declining. You keeping back a line.
Correct. Everybody
People
watching
you.
stoops in.
Exactly.
You from a third world country.
Embarrassing.
Correct.
Now, these ministers and their family and friends don't have that problem. So they don't care about the small people. And it's about time the small people realize that they only care about you during election time.
If at all.
And I will tell you something. On my recent trip, I was in a taxi. I don't know the two persons behind me, right? I was in the middle. They were at the back. And I overheard this lady speaking, right? Because she right there. And she talking, I could hear. And based on the conversation, she was talking to somebody from Trinidad. And she telling them, when she come back, she need to get a warehouse rented because they have to start giving out hampers because election is coming. God is my witness. I heard the woman with that.
You just hear what you want to hear.
That is what I heard. I told Inchan about it. The woman said, election coming up, we have to start giving out hampers. So a hamper is what the PNM believe will get their votes. That to show you the thinking, the mentality.
Yeah.
And voters fall for that. They fall for a hamper. What's going to happen after the hamper finish? You're back to square one. They get your vote and they kick you.
Yeah. And the people in Mr. Hines' constituency seem to be aware of that at long last, hence the video we showed earlier.
Well, but I don't know what caused these people to actually get to their senses now, to realize that they don't care about you.
Yeah. Let's take the caller, and then we'll come back to some points.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night.
Welcome. What area are you calling from?
Swami Gandhi.
All right, proceed.
2 weeks back, I traveled out. I went for dinner. My bill come 58 US. When I give my debit card, it declined because it was only 50 US I could have spent. So I had to take our next debit card and swipe it for $8. So the next night now, you can't go back to eat because you have no money on your debit card because the bank give you 200 US to travel.
But how does that make you feel, knowing that, the embarrassment alone?
Well, I feel really shame because going to the hotel, them look up at me, and I give you a card and my card declined and no. And next thing was this black credit card. You have to pay an annual, every month you pay a fee to maintain that card. Right? Because that is premium bank and you're paying $300 and more to maintain that card. If you drop the limit, why they drop the rental on the card? No.
A very good point.
No, well, they
drop the rental on the card because you drop the limit from 10,000 to 5,000.
Their profit margin mustn't drop at all. They have to maintain their profit margin. So it's the customer who will always have the end of the stick.
Yeah.
Okay, caller, thank you.
Thank you so much for that, caller.
Yeah.
So the caller is saying, if I'm to understand him correctly, he too experienced The same thing as Asha Javid, the same thing as Inshan, the same thing as yourself, the same thing as myself.
$58.
For $58?
All he was getting is 50.
Is there another caller on the line, studio, or that's the same? There is a caller? Yeah, well, let's take it.
Hello, good night.
Very, very good evening to you, gentlemen.
Hi, good night, caller.
This is a regular caller.
Yes. I just want to say, Mr. Jagesa, you are so correct. There is a lot of signs in the grocery stores, in the fabric stores, and all over where people putting up their little signs saying they're buying US 750 and whatnot. And all those, according to the law, it is illegal. You have to be an authorized dealer, authorized by the Minister and the Ministry of Finance. So I just want to talk about something concerning the same matter. Forget me, I've done my fair share of travel. But imagine, there's a young man, I'm not talking about myself, I cross 66. So there's a young man, you're working hard, you're saving your money. You're aspiring, you want to go to the US to visit your brother, some family, whatever, take a trip. You apply for a US visa, you get through. Nice, so far so good. You go to Cal to buy your ticket, so far so good. You take your ticket and you go to the bank. And these people, sorry to say this, they want to give you a stinking $200. Now, what you going to do with that?
That's the travel by taxi.
Sometimes I even pay the taxi.
That is not enough. Okay, let's say, like I was in Jersey around the same time last year. So from JFK, $200, that go on, that enough? What, I mean, this is so ridiculous. So you're not encouraging, so only the rich and famous want to travel?
Well, don't forget, the Minister of Tourism said that we should go travel and see how people have it away. We have it nice here.
Yeah.
But if you're not getting any US to go away, how are you going to see how the conditions are away?
So, look, you hit the nail on the head. If I don't get the money to travel, how I going to know whether here nice or where nice? but that was a very disrespectful statement from Randy Mitchell. Because with 500 and change murders, home invasion, robbery after, imagine they take a little anklet and a little bracelet from a toddler. And my cousin didn't go on some years ago, know what he used to say? He used to say, Mike, oh God, look, I called me. Anyway, he used to say, Mike, boy, you can't leave your coffee outside, you know. Because by the time you come back, the sugar and the coffee gone.
Exactly.
All the best, have a great evening.
Yeah, all right, cool, man, thanks.
Thank you, caller, for that. So another caller calls in and confirms what we all know to be true, that there is a foreign exchange crisis.
All right, we have a next caller. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night.
Yes, sir. What area are you calling from?
I'm calling from California in Trinidad.
I thought it was, you're sounding like California from away.
No, boy, we Trinidad, boy.
All right, proceed.
All right, I want to tell the whole of the world that this weekend is Diwali. And the Ministry of Social Development give pensioners the check to go and buy oil and flour and rice and diya and oil to light for Diwali. They want to keep it to give all the PNM people to vote back for Rowley.
How you could say that about the Prime Minister?
Because them is racial people, boy. Indian having Diwali celebration and they're giving people the pension check, social welfare. Say you're getting it from the 30th to the 4th when Diwali done. They want Indian people to survive in this country.
No, you can't say that. You can't say things like that.
Yes, that is the truth. That is the truth.
All right, caller, thanks. Now, the sentiment remains the same with all of the callers, even the last one. He is a person of Trinidad and Tobago origin suffering under this administration. 9 years running, he's suffering. He speaks to being able to access no TT in the bank now because he hasn't gotten his pension check.
That is his entitlement.
And that is his entitlement. Work, he reached the age, he paid his dues, and now he can't get his check on time.
And I think pension is normally be paid on the last day of the month.
The last day, yes.
Last
Last
day.
and the first. The last day.
Right,
Last
so
day. That's why the first day of the month always has a line.
They're going until the 4th. That is what the gentleman said, right? I don't have any evidence of that. But he say he's going to the 4th. Now, we have some people who live on a measly pension. Mm-hmm. Even before the 31st of the month, they're looking forward for the pension because they hardly have anything to sustain them. So you're further frustrating the people.
Yeah, you know, much times you're talking to auntie or uncle and they tell you, well, when I get my pension, I go pay her 500, and then next month I go pay her, when I get my pension, I'll pay her 500. You know how much times you have to hear that? And it really breaks your heart. Eh?
Yes, exactly. We have a next call on the line. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, good night, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Tagarigua.
Tagarigua?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, go ahead.
Right. I just trying to find out something. Bring some awareness or something. When you're applying for like a shotgun or something, right? The officers will come and search your home. You have to provide now a box, a safe. One of that safe is about 10,000 to 8,000 ready make. If you're making one where depend on the material, it's about $5,000. Good. Your chances is that you wouldn't get a shotgun. So what you would do with that safe after? So I just mean you know the kind of waste of money you're going through sometimes.
Oh, that is how it is.
Use the safe and put the US that you're not getting.
You can't even put anything home in the safe. Them cockroaches and them coming home for it. You can't keep nothing home.
Yeah, the bandits. Criminal element.
Yeah. Hello, good night. Hello.
Yes, salam alaikum and good night.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. I'm calling from Kuapa. I have 2 questions.
Sure.
The first question is, the Auditor General have any powers to go into the banks and check their records of the disposing of US currencies to people in Trinidad and Tobago? And the second question is for the Attorney General. Mr. Attorney, so could you tell me why it is that the register in the High Court taking so many years to complete a letter administration when they have all the documents in the desk in the office, taking 10 and 15 and more 20 years to complete? Thank you so much for your time.
Very good questions.
But that is your area.
That is very, very good questions, and that takes up a show by itself.
I'm sure you could proceed that.
One of these days, we really take that bull by the horns and address it. You know, those 2 very important questions. So what we have in this country is clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, an inequitable distribution of foreign exchange, which has led the people who get none or very little to call it a crisis. The people who are okay with the status quo, they would of course like it to remain as is. The people who get foreign exchange, those businesses who can go to Exim Bank and get money, they want it to remain as is. Those people who export, those people who don't produce for here, they like the status quo. Those multi-million-dollar individuals, the rich, the upper echelons of society, they want the chasm between the rich and the poor to grow even wider because they can get more and the rest of us have to wrestle with scraps. And if you are an individual in this country who is saying there is no crisis, then it is because you're on that side of the chasm.
Correct.
If you're an individual in this country who tell the rest of us there is no crisis and stay quiet and you better not increase your prices and don't blame me and all that talk, then you fall on that side of the chasm.
They don't want to rock the boat.
And you want the status quo to remain the same, but I'll tell you something. They may be richer. They may live in more expensive houses. But we outnumber them 99-1. Eh?
But that is what the power we carry, and people don't realize it. We have so much power, at least the people at the lower end of the stick. We have that power to stop them in their tracks, and we don't do it.
You're absolutely right. Today, car pilots protested. Car pilots protested for 1 day. For 1 day, and asked to be given the same 4% increase as the other.
Right, what?
And they got it immediately today. Imbert gave the okay to grant them that increase. So it shows that there is one, power in numbers, there is power in unity, and there is power in action. It took them 1 day.
Now, on that aspect with the 4%, right? Don't we have a CPO?
Yes.
So why is the Minister of Finance? Is it that we don't have collective bargaining again? Because I know, I used to work in the government service, and our union has to submit proposals to the CPO. And the CPO will decide, well, assure the Minister of Finance will have a say in it. But the Minister of Finance never came out, since I know myself, the Minister of Finance at no time never came out and said, we are giving you 4%. The CPO is the one you have to go and negotiate with and get your percentage and other perks. Because, you know, it have cost of living, if they have to add it on, you know, all these things. So is it that, what is the purpose of the CPO now? If the pilots just say they will accept the 4%, and the Minister of Finance just say, all right, no big thing.
Yeah.
So what is it? Do we need a CPO anymore?
Well, we don't know what's the relationship between the Minister of Finance and that particular CPO. But I think the point stands that at the end of the day, it shows that Imbert can accept defeat in certain circumstances and grant the request of those who are asking. I think we have a call on the line, and let's take the caller.
Hello.
We get back to
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Yes, sir. What area are you calling from?
I'm calling from Aruka.
All right, you can proceed.
Yeah, great program.
Thank you.
I have a saying that I just say PNM is the problem, UNC is not the solution. And we lack in statecraft leadership and statecraft diplomacy. And I can't see why it is in 2024 we still have a president is a ceremonial president, a president without power. Now, we have postpaid phone card and prepaid phone card. We have a crisis in this country right now where the average man cannot get US dollars. We have a Ministry of Finance and a minister. I think the minister is not telling the population the truth. Now, I'm a small businessman. I want to open a business. And I'm going to say it. I want to open a funeral home. We don't manufacture hearse here. If I take out a hearse, I have to go to America to get it in. The people who I get in contact with in America, they want the US money. They don't want TT dollars. You go to the bank, it's a set of run around. They're telling you have to produce a ticket. Just imagine they say, you have to produce a ticket to do transaction, to get foreign currencies, to get money, to even if you tell them you want to do a wire transfer, is a problem. This is what poor people in this country facing today. And we have to call a spade a spade. And what we are seeing today in this country is rich getting richer, and the poor is getting poorer. And nobody is scared. Nobody care about, and they're talking about, they put this system in place, that system in place, that. This system fall apart. If you have a prepaid phone card and a postpaid phone card, the prepaid is when you use up whatever you pay for, it's done. Why the bank and the Minister of Finance and the the governor of the central bank don't put a system like in that in place for people so they could put their money, right? And whatever they use when they travel. But you want to put them a ticket. A one-way ticket is 3,000 TT. A boat-way return is 6,000 something. You have to show to the bank that you're traveling. And when they go in, they start to make a phone call. And when you make the phone call, you're going to get $150. You're going to get $100. You're showing them you're going on business. Let me tell you something, Something is definitely wrong. Billions of dollars pumping in this country. You're hearing us, they're saying that how they put so much of billions when the day come, when it's concerning foreign currency. But who getting it? Who getting it?
Yeah, but caller, you have to remember, we are the ones that have to take this blame, you know.
Yes, because we know what we like in this country. We like cult voting. We like voting for our leader and voting for our party. And we don't want to stand up for what is right for this country, Trinidad and Tobago. And let me tell you something. You say something which is correctly, you know, we had the power in our hand. Not them 41 we have there.
No,
in the
exactly.
lower and the 31 we have in the upper house. We put them there to govern our affairs. And what they're doing, they're failing us.
Well, here what's going on. You have an opportunity coming up just now. And if you're so frustrated, like all the callers and all these citizens who cannot call into the program, you have to use the power. You see of this little finger here?
Yes. And let me tell you something, caller. I'm glad, host, I'm glad you said this, you know. It's time we unite, you know. Because what we see in there ain't working for us, you know.
Now, you see, I don't like this idea about uniting only for election.
No,
you see,
no,
when
we
election
can't. We have to unite for a common cause and unite so that the poor man could benefit.
Hello.
All right, probably money run out 24.
Prepared.
Prepared.
I agree with the caller insofar as I hear the pain in his voice, the pure pain and sorrow that he has gotten to in this, in just looking and observing how far we've fallen, you know. And I appreciate where he's coming from insofar as that is concerned. We have one more caller to take, and then we can go to a break.
Right.
Yeah. Let's take this last caller.
Hello. Good night.
Yeah. Hello. Good night.
Yes, sir.
Richard. Good night.
Hi. Good night. Yeah.
Good night, man.
First of all, Richard, I want to commend you by the owner and the products for the stance that they make against the Minister of Finance, boy. Because I'm going to tell you something. Everybody talking the talk, and nobody want to walk the walk. You understand what I'm telling you? And I'm glad that they decided to make that stance and try to put him in the place. Because what is going on here, right? These people coming out and telling you have no foreign exchange crisis, right? But the man on the ground can't get foreign exchange.
That is it.
So where the money is going, this is the problem. Where the money going? They're saying it's no foreign exchange problem, and I believe them. But where the money going? Who getting it? If the local businessmen, the manufacturing businessmen, who not in any association trying to get foreign exchange can't get it, where's the money going?
Well, that is what we have to find out, and I think maybe the FOIA and we could get it probably through that.
Correct.
And let me refresh on the memory a little bit, right? The said Minister of Finance come out tonight and say when you pay property tax, it's going into the consolidated fund, right? All you notice that tonight he say that, right? Let me tell you something. And he was the same minister jump out a couple of weeks ago, 2 months ago, and say that if you have no water in your pipe, pay property tax. If you wear garbage pick up, pay property tax. If you wear grass cut, pay property tax. So how it is people property tax going into the consolidated fund right now? What's going on with the local government reform?
Exactly. That is why.
Hold back. Listen, and they hold back the local government election for a whole year. Faris Al-Rawi do that. And he said that they was going to have local government reform. And the whole election, up to now, they ain't talking no local government reform. So who they fooling here? This is the problem we have in the country. Any side you turn for any kind of redress in this country, you're getting nothing in return. Or every agency that's supposed to give the poor man any kind of redress, it's shutting down. It's falling flat on their face. So we have to come out there now and fend for ourselves. That is the problem of going on in this country here now. Everything is not even running on autopilot again. It has nobody steering the ship again. Everything is going haywire. That is what's going on in this country right now. So people need to start putting these people in check. And let me tell you something. If we don't get them out next election, Chapo smoke we pipe in this country. I don't think many are we going to survive the next 5 years on this PNM government. And let me tell you something, fellas, before I go, right? I noticed on the papers today, a certain individual donate $1 million to the Ministerial Education. We playing with $6 and $7 and $8 billion, $1 billion budget for the Ministerial Education. He want to come and throw $1 million in people's face? What are they going on with these people, right? How stupid is the ways in this country, right? These are questions that people not asking. And let me tell you something, before I go, right, you see all these PNM supporters, them satisfied with going in the bank and getting 200 and 500 US and going for a trip to America and come back here. Them don't know where to have a credit card with 10,000 US and to go with that 3,000 US in your pocket. Them don't know about this kind of thing. You know? That capital column members give them this, them satisfied with that.
All right, Kola,
already worry. And great program.
Yes, same to you, man. All the best. We have to take a break now.
Correct. Before we take the break, I just want to make one comment.
Sure.
Again, if you are okay with the status quo, it means it doesn't affect you. So if you're okay with the 200 US, then it is either that you never need the 200 US, or you always get more than the 200 US. So maybe it is that some people support the political party that they support because they never travel and they never need the 200 US and understand what that means.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's take a break.
I'm Brian. I've been welding for more than 25 years. It's a rough job, so I need tools that last long and work efficiently. The most important tool that I use every day is a welding machine. A good one, in my experience, must last at least, let's say, 4 to 5 years without breaking down or losing efficiency. I've been using a Ronix welding machine for about 4 years now, and it's been a really good companion. Ronix Premium Quality. Ronix Heavy Duty 89 Series. High efficiency, brushless 20-volt motor. All-in-one professional angle grinder kit. Ronix brushless angle grinder.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
Yeah, and welcome back. I just want to remind you all about the Baraka Foundation dinner on the 17th of November, 6:30 p.m. All tickets almost sold out. We just have a few, maybe by next week. We want those tickets gone so we can start doing our preparations. So be part of this project, please. The Baraka Foundation dinner on the 17th of November at 6 p.m. at the Baraka grounds. All are welcome and we will see you there. Okay, Richard, what's on your plate now?
Zoom in. Could you zoom in? This is the most precious thing in this country right now. This is more precious than gold, more precious than a wife who knows how to make tomatoes choker. This is what we're discussing. All I have is $1 US. But it's the sentiment that counts. This is the rarest thing right now. Imbert says it's not rare. And let's get into what he says. Now the last caller made reference to this, so I'll explain. I'll go through it and explain. You can pull up the first slide, guys. Now there is a way that this government sort of treats with issues in the country. You know, they say they spin everything, you know, and they say there isn't any issues. I remember when there was a slew of school fights. The then Minister of Education was asked by the media, you know, what is your response to school fights? He says, school fights? What school fights? I don't know anything about school fights. You know, and crime is running rampant. The Commissioner of Police goes on national television and says crime isn't running rampant. We have a reduction in the increase of reduction of crime. The reduce in the increase in the reduce of crime. You know, that nonsense, she says. And we have the Minister of National Security says more or less the same thing. You know, crime is down, but he can't seem to sort out his
and they also spin it and it comes and blame you.
Yes, a victim blaming.
Blame you.
Yes.
You are the problem, not them. Eh?
It could never be them.
You are the problem. They collecting the big fat salary for doing what?
Correct. And we as a nation, we have to recognize that is their tactic. We have to recognize that is what they are doing, open our eyes and be smarter than that. We have to be able to see them for what they truly are, deceitful. All right? And in this particular instance, we've touched heavily on Imbert saying there is no foreign exchange crisis. You know what's another thing he does? He spins it and he says it's your fault, as you just pointed out. He made mention that the grocery stores, somehow their fault because they import goods and only had 50% of the cost, and now somehow blame the ministry. I quote Mariano Brown, the former Minister of Finance, and when he says the buck stops at the minister, correct. If not the minister, then who to call upon? You know, let's bring up the first slide that I just sent. Imbert has taken to tweeting. Now, zoom out. Now, we addressed this headline already. We went through this Express headline, plea for IMF help. And Imbert tweets and says, the Express has proven this week that it has no interest in research or truth and simply deals in distortion. The man vexed with Express now.
Yes.
I checked with Exim Bank. I don't know if he picked up the phone, he called, he sent an email. I don't know what he did. He says, I checked with Exim Bank, and I was told that the businessman the paper is promoting has never applied to Exim Bank for access to foreign exchange. Never. First of all, what business is that of yours if a businessman applied to Exim Bank or not? Secondly, the crux issue in Trinidad and Tobago is the equality of distribution of foreign exchange. Why are you talking about Exim Bank, which deals with export of produce? We are talking about regular goods and services here in Trinidad and Tobago. We are talking about a businessman who, for example, runs for a used car dealership and wants to get parts to fix vehicles, which will increase employment because he has to hire a mechanic. It will assist vehicles that are in Trinidad already stay on the roads and reduce any importation of new vehicles, thus causing foreign exchange to go outside and so on. So the ripple effect is obvious for anybody to discuss. But it's simple. It's simple to look at his statement and realize that he's spinning it. Let's go to the next one. Again, he's quoting the headlines and saying, our Exim Bank was established to facilitate the growth and expansion of our export and manufacturing sectors, to enhance our foreign exchange earnings and create employment through assistance to our exporting companies, and not to facilitate wholesalers of imported finished goods. Then that means only the exporters benefit from Exim Bank, not the importers. All right, and the people who are crying out, the first headline, the one that said, what was the Sunday headline, were the importers. All right, no, let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next one. There we go. So during COVID, we created a special window at Exim Bank to provide USD for essential imports. So this is the exception. This is food and medicine. Now, I told you I looked at the list, and it was really certain foods and certain pharmaceuticals. All right? Ironically, masks and gloves and so on, they didn't fall in the list. COVID is over, so we are reviewing the feasibility of that Forex window. So he's accepting here that the window he's talking about that existed during COVID no longer exists. No longer exists. So what is your obsession? What is your misguiding and misleading the people to look at Exim Bank when the truth is you and I can't go to Exim Bank. The regular business person can't go to Exim Bank. Only the exporters can go to Exim Bank. And for a short time, importers of certain goods and certain pharmaceuticals could import. Let's go to the next slide. I think that brings us to the article, yes? I think that brings us to the article. Yes. Food import. I want to start there. This is what I'm talking about. The negative spinning of the truth. Food importers, so grocery stores, can't hold public to ransom. Who said anything about that? Who said? But if you were face to face with me now, I would ask you, who said? Show me where. Show me where anybody said they were going to hold the public to ransom for foreign exchange. Let's scroll down. Finance Minister Colin Imbert says food importers cannot hold public to ransom and increase prices when they knew obtaining foreign exchange from the Exim Bank was a temporary measure. So he accepts that it was only temporary. The minister issued a 3-page media release yesterday. I've read the 3-page media release. Let's scroll to the bottom. The line from the media release is at the end of the article, which I want. They claim that crisis. No, hold on. Crisis is in quotation. You know why? Because he is making the point there is no crisis. All the callers we just heard from, Asha Javid, yourself, myself, Inshan, everybody else in this country, the grocery supermarket association, everybody lying when we call it a crisis. He says there is no crisis. That's why it's in quotation. They claim that crisis will lead to food price increase and shortage. Let's scroll down a bit. Imbert stated, it is a matter of record that wholesale importers were aware of the Forex window for essential imports was temporary. So he accepts that it's not existing now. He said they were also informed in August 2024, prior to the delivery of the budget of 2025, which is the recent budget that they just delivered, that the foreign exchange facility was under review and would be amended to return the program to its original intent and purpose, which is the export market. All right? Let's scroll along all the way to almost the bottom of the article. Role of Exim Bank. According to Imbert, the purpose of Exim Bank is to provide foreign exchange support for exporters in the non-energy and manufacturing sectors as part of the government's ongoing goal of economic expansion and diversification. Imagine that, diversification, but we're not focused on planting, growing, and supplying our own food?
That was never a plan of the P&M?
Part of the government's diversification plan deals with export. In fact, the entirety of the government's diversification plan deals with export. If you go in one of those massive companies, I'll say companies, you go in one of those international brands and you look on the shelves, you'll see Halloween plastic pumpkin for trick-or-treat. Yeah. They get foreign exchange for that. But you and I can't get foreign exchange to go and seek medical attention in Miami or Canada.
Well, the pumpkin is more important.
The plastic pumpkin. The plastic pumpkin. Let's go back to the article. Let me see if I can get the quote as well. Yes, all the way to the bottom.
That's it there?
No, you can scroll down.
I think that's the end. We'll have a next page.
You can come back to me then. All right. I'll just read it from the version I have. It says, he said, he meaning Imbert, Forex from the Exim Bank has only ever been allocated for importing essential goods such as basic food and medicine during COVID, and principally for imports into manufacturing, such as raw materials and equipment. Imbert concluded that foreign exchange from Exim Bank has never been sent directly to any importer, and that all foreign payments, once verified, are made directly by Exim Bank to the vetted and validated international supplier. So this is, and I use it to show that Imbert from the newspaper articles mentioned Exim Bank and stuck with Exim Bank in his response to all of us in the country. But when you look at Exim Bank and even his own statements on Exim Bank, you see the truth. You see that he is being deceitful and misleading the public. And let's get back to the truth of it. The truth of it is there is inequitable distribution of foreign exchange, as the last caller said. And I take my cue from the last caller to discuss this point. It is inequitable distribution because there is foreign exchange in the market. It's a free market. But we are not getting it. Asha Javid doesn't get it. Scotiabank customers, they've just got slashed in half all of their cards, no point of sale, and so on. So the commercial banks are not getting it. So who is getting it? If it is Exim Bank, well, look who is getting it, the exporters.
And that information could be sourced?
Of course.
Well, these are things we
Imbert, in the first screenshot, Imbert was able to call. Well, he said check. He said check. Imbert was able to check with Exim Bank to find out if a businessman was a customer of theirs. So then there is a record. Because whoever he called, so you pick up the phone and John, I want to know if Nazim is a customer of yours. John has a platform to check if Nazim was ever an applicant, was ever refused, was ever granted foreign exchange, what was the purpose, and as we read just now, you would have had to submit all of your documentation. They wouldn't pay the importer directly, they will pay you and so on. So they will have a record of that. And that, in doing so, that is their monitoring exercise to keep track of who gets foreign exchange and who doesn't get foreign exchange and so on. And I'll tell you something, I like where your mind is at. Because if one were to look at that foreign exchange distribution as a trend, one would be able to see who gets the foreign exchange in this country and who does not get the foreign exchange in this country.
Well, you see Christmas coming up here? Those warehouses, you just have to go and look at those warehouses and you will see where all the foreign exchange coming from. It have a place right on the highway here in Freeport, by Presal, just before Presal flyover on your left. A big warehouse there. I saw that whole area lined up with containers. They're not bringing food.
No. All right. So I think we can open the line for some calls. It's 9:11.
We'll go up to 9:30.
go up to 9:30. We could take some calls on this foreign exchange issue, and
or any other concern
sure.
that the viewing audience might want to put across.
Sure. And I think the viewers should know that if they like us on the show, they should comment and tell Inshan that, because the last time we hosted, I looked at the comments. 50% of the comments was where the boss, where Inshan. So I started to say, well, boy, like Nazim, like we too ugly for them. I'm
telling you, boy, I might probably have to shave my head.
Well, you notice I make sure I get a haircut and today shave up and thing. I try. Good night, caller. Good night, caller. You're live.
Okay then. Good night.
Good night. I'm saying up front, I'm not selling the dollar. Eh? I'm not selling the dollar.
What dollar? No, you ain't selling the dollar. You're only showing the dollar. Okay. What my real concern is, right, is that when government take over, I just getting at a point, when government take over and they say they have X amount or whatever in the treasury, we the people doesn't know how much it have, It's there where the money they start to take, And the balance, we ain't getting the checks and balance coming down the road after that, We ain't getting that. As business people out here, we ain't getting that proper checks but them want checks and balance from us. Them want checks and balance from us, but we not getting checks and balance from them. Just imagine, all right, things like mosquito. The country, they have let me say since in the 1960s or whatever, people used to still pass around and with the finance minister, the health minister. The people used to still pass and clean the drain, spray the drain, all them cold. But you walking through Port of Spain and you're seeing some little white mosquito. You walking all about and you're seeing little white mosquito coming out from the drain, From the drain when they're supposed to be spraying that drain every so often, and they will stop the mosquito virus, but they may want to stop it. They want everybody to be going in and out. So who they're dead? That's what the government showing we, Who they're dead?
I think that is somebody said that.
Yeah, during COVID, I think.
Not during COVID, I think I don't want to misquote anybody.
Since COVID time, we pretend money coming. We know money come. Where the money gone? Where the money going?
Caller, hear what happened. I'm going to get a shot of the monies that was received during COVID. Since you brought it up, just put up the screenshot with the monies that was received during COVID.
You see what is that kind of one we up? No.
Nobody
watch me. In other words, here what I'm saying. Every minister or prime minister of this country have to bring proper checks and balance for us. We is the people developing the country. We is the people, and we need proper checks and balance. We not getting that.
Yeah, you call it for transparency. Caller, you call it for transparency. You want to see where the money going, which roads they fixing, how much they spending, correct?
Yes. We used to get,
and that's fair.
And every quarter, and the thing, he used to bring and show.
Caller, if you watch your screen now, you will see the monies that were received during COVID.
Well, I'm telling you, Israel money passed.
They received over $2.3 billion. That is the amount of money they received. Plus, they had vaccines that they didn't have to pay for.
Correct. We got shipments of vaccines free.
That they didn't have to pay for.
And we drew down from the HSF.
Right, exactly.
And when we draw down from the HSF, we draw down in US,
Correct.
We draw down US from the HSF, not TT.
So where all this money went out, and Terence Dialsing have to answer for this. Where all the money going during COVID?
Yes.
This is what I'm telling you. People don't just sit down and watch, but it have plenty deep secret that these government hiding. I'm talking about both, not only one government, the both government.
I agree with you.
Government.
All right, Kola, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
$2.3 billion.
Ridiculousness, Now, I always say, when you look at governments come and government go, the People's National Movement they've been the ruling government of this country for
over 45 years.
Correct. Other than that, we've had the UNC, we've had NAR, and then we've had People's Partnership.
Well, you see, I'll tell you something. The only time PNM voters will change their voting pattern is when they are at the edge of the precipice and they are at the verge of falling down. That is what happened in 1986. And because we had to go to the IMF, and Robertson had to take during certain steps. And what they did to Robertson? Robertson had to take this step, but this was due to mismanagement by the PNM for 30 consecutive years. 30 consecutive years they in power. And we had to go to the IMF. And that is what caused the coup.
And now we have a situation where the PNM has been in government for 9 years. And if you look at what they've delivered in that 9 years versus what transpired just before, there is a stark difference. I mean, people look at it and say government come and go and whatever happened. But I beg to differ. During the last administration, during the People's Partnership administration, we had free laptops, we had healthcare coming a bit more on stream, we had the Couva Hospital opening up, for example. We had different things happening at all sectors of society. Crime was at its lowest in 2013, for example. There was virtually no kidnappings at one point, and everything was moving smoothly along with the country progressing, and that's what I mean with smoothly along. The country was progressing. And now we have a government that's been in place for 9 years that blamed the last administration for every blunder, every failure. And also, there's something one of my clients told me recently. What was it, boy? It was Kamala gave us laptops and Rowley gave us 50 grams of weed. Yes. Legalized 50 grams of weed.
My honor was equalized.
So when you look, and then I also wanted to make the point that, Justin, tell me when the slide is ready. I also want to make the point that all of those 40 plus years the PNM have been in government, they closed down cocoa, they closed down rice, they closed down sugar.
They closed down oil.
They closed down oil, right? And then they want to say we have no foreign exchange crisis. You close down all of the items that we could generate and export and sell and get foreign exchange, and then want to say we don't have a foreign exchange crisis.
And we have to pay for all the fuel we're bringing in now.
We're paying for all the sugar, we're paying for all the oil, we're paying for all the cocoa, and we're paying for all the rice. And you want to tell us there is nothing wrong with that. And that's what they do consistently, and that we have to, open up our eyes and recognize that is not a proper governing strategy.
Correct.
And 2, tell ourselves that we've had them for so long, 40 plus years, most recent being 9 years, and we have to say, listen, times were better at one point. And let's return to those better times, and hopefully the trend will continue, because right now the trend is a downward, not spiral, fall, drop. It's a straight precipice drop. Let's go to this slide. Now, earlier I mentioned, some callers mentioned actually, and I took it from them, foreign exchange being accessible in the open market. Now, this is a 2014 release. 2014. There was a shift in 2015, of course. Right. So I don't have any 2015 and onwards similar releases, but this is a release from Central Bank which says Central Bank releases $200 million into the domestic foreign exchange market. And it goes on to explain and how it works and so on. But essentially, what happens is 200 million goes to the bankers, all the commercial banks and all the authorized dealers, and they decide who gets how much based on their needs, based on their customer clientele and so on. All right, let's come out of that. Now, that's 200 million in 2014 we were able to inject, meaning that there was foreign exchange in market already. We were able to add an additional 200 million US in 2014. So one, that tells us times were a lot better. Two, that tells us that central bank has US, or at least had back in those days, and have the capability of injecting. And three, it sort of tells us how the system works. It sort of tells us that there is foreign exchange somewhere, and that is released into the market, and then the market trickles down to us. And we've gotten to the point now, from 2014 to now 10 years later, where it does not trickle down to us. And that's the point I wanted to make. From then to now, it has gotten to the point where you could inject 200 million. 199 million might go to Exim Bank. And the rest of the banks will have to share up 1 million each.
Which is actually nothing.
And I'm sure Scotia Bank could attest to that, of getting next to nothing and now being forced to cut their clientele, now being forced to cut their cards. Because I'm sure they made that decision based on what little foreign exchange that they got. So who is getting the chunk? Who is getting the large chunk?
Well, we have a lot of new cars on the market. Plenty cars, new cars, and they keep rolling in. Where are they getting the foreign exchange?
Where those brand new cars, those dealers getting those foreign exchange.
Where are they getting the foreign exchange?
You know, it's sad. It's absolutely sad. Because again, that's just money going out of our purse, out of what little we have, because we have little, into the foreign market. For what purpose? For what reason?
Right. Priorities.
And if your priority is not your own, if your priority is not your people, then you are not fit for office.
Exactly.
Exactly. All right, let's take one more break, and then we'll come back with closing comments.
Yes.
I'm Brian. I've been welding for more than 25 years. It's a rough job, so I need tools that last long and work efficiently. The most important tool that I use every day is a welding machine. A good one, in my experience, must last at least, let's say, 4 to 5 years without breaking down or losing efficiency. I've been using a Ronix welding machine for about 4 years now, and it's been a really good companion.
Ronix Premium Quality. Ronix Heavy Duty 89 Series. High efficiency, brushless 20-volt motor. All-in-one professional angle grinder kit. Ronix brushless angle grinder.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality bromate free, all-purpose and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems, and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
And welcome back, folks. It's 9:27, so we are getting set to wind down. So I will just like to emphasize and let people know, based on our callers and based on everything that is going on, we have to come together and do something. Now, when I mean come together and do something, I don't mean it to come during the election and then we go back to square one. We have to be genuine in what we're going to do. And my mantra is, we have to get rid of this PNM government at all costs that is within the law. We have to do it. People, if we don't do that, you all are going to regret it. You might be, say, 40, 45 years, but think about your grandchildren, think about your children. Those are the people you have to think about. So I just want to close and say, we have to get rid of this PNM government at all costs. Don't take God off your thought and go back and stain your finger for them, please. That is what I have to say. Richard, it's all up to you.
Last 2 minutes. At the end of the day, we live in a world where we always have to make life easier and better for the next generation. It will be against human nature if we were to make the next generation's life worse or bad than we have it now. And as young as I am, my parents taught me, as their parents taught them, that you have to always rise above every challenge and make life better for the next. And I sit in a position where I look at my country and I say that we've devolved so much that it's unacceptable. And I say it is time to stand up and fight. And it is time to stand up and argue and advocate for what is right, what we need, and what we deserve. And there is no time better to make that point than during this auspicious Diwali time. Because the entire theme of Diwali is light over darkness, goodness over evil. And there is no time better to say that prosperity means making life better for those around us and those that come after us. And education is one way to do that. Advocating for others' rights are another way to do that. And during this auspicious time of Diwali, I first say Shubh Diwali, and then I say, let us continue to fight and aim towards the light, and therefore we will triumph and we will be successful.
Well said.
Thank you. And we're at 9:30.
On the button.
All right, good night.
So, folks, we'll see you next week. Hopefully, you will have your regular host. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah, if it is that y'all don't like us, y'all can say that, and then we'll know, you know. All right, good night, callers. Good night, everyone.